Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of News Report number 17 to be exact with Zyori and Hyper. We survived the Mayan apocalypse. We're here. Josh, feels good to be alive, buddy.
I know. I woke up today. My room was nice and crispy. Look outside. It's a beautiful Saturday. It's a little chilly outside, so I'm not going outside.
That's an understatement. It is fucking cold out today. I woke up and was shivering. I'm still cold. I'm wrapped up in a little blankie because the windows in my house are quite drafty. But yeah, it's been another interesting week. Of course, we are but 3 days from Christmas, so the holiday season is in full swing. American consumerism at its best. I'm going to go contribute to it today right after we're finished. So let's go ahead and queue up, Josh. We've got a lot to talk about today. Hopefully we can find a properly placed Han game. Casual mode, again, guys. I know how excited you are at home to see us destroy noobs on casual mode bright and early on Saturday morning. But, well, Josh is rusty, and we can all use a little confidence booster.
Whoa, I'm rusty. You're rusty, too.
All right, everyone's rusty.
We're both rusty.
The team is rusty. We need to assemble the casual mode team. We won last week for the first time in like 3 consecutive weeks, so we got to keep up with the trend, man. I think we're trending positive.
Yeah, unlike the stock market on Friday.
Yes, exactly right. That segues nicely. So as you can see, our portfolio here, guys, our random assortment of tech stocks, banks, and well, now Best Buy. Everything is in the red. So Josh, take it away. What happened this week?
I mean, it's basically the market was really extended, even like these past couple weeks and everything, and it pulled back hard yesterday, and that was due to like the president, the GOP not coming to like a solution to the fiscal cliff, and their deadline's coming up. They got till the end of December, and I think yesterday they said Congress is going on winter break or whatever, so they're not going to be doing anything till after Christmas. So that's even more days they have not working on it.
Yep. I saw that on Twitter, actually. Will Wheaton was tweeting about that, as was George Takei, and I was like, yep, going on vacation. Good stuff. Bill Maher was upset about it also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely something that hasn't been settled yet. It's causing a lot of turmoil in the market. There hasn't been much trading as far as day trading. It's like really hot in the morning, apparently, and then afternoon, it's just flat. Everyone stops. And a lot of that indecisiveness is due to people not knowing the future of the Bush tax cuts and the fiscal cliff and everything. Because if they expire, if they allow them to expire, which it kind of, I don't know where they're going to come up with this like midpoint between the president and the GOP.
Yeah, that's the question. What is the official date before we fall off the cliff?
It's 31st or whatever.
Okay, so
it's till the end of December.
Oh, all right, I got you. Last day of the year.
Yeah, last day of the year.
Wow. So when does Congress return from Christmas break? Is it Wednesday, right after Christmas?
So I watched Boehner yesterday give his speech or whatever, where they do like press conferences, and he said they're prepared to come back whenever, but at the time they don't have anything set in stone. Yeah, but they said they're prepared to come back if major breakthroughs or progress can be made. But right now they're kind of just like, apparently the president came in and Boehner and they sat at a table and they discussed, and the president said what he wanted to do and Boehner said what he wanted to do, and they kind of didn't come to a I don't know, an agreement quite yet.
Yeah.
But there have been movements on both ends of what they're prepared to give up. For instance, Boehner is now trying to push the Bush tax cuts for everyone making over $1 million. And
that's a compromise.
That's at least the start of a compromise. Because until this point, he was like, no tax increases for anyone.
Right.
So at least he's willing to say now millionaires and don't get the Bush tax cuts. And then the president was like, okay, I'll give you 400,000 and up. And so I think the last point they were at was like 500,000 and up. But I don't know. It's still up in the air as far as like spending cuts. They're really pushing for spending cuts is what the GOP wants. But they haven't really specified what on either side. I mean, they both have them in their initial agreement. I think the GOP wants more. But neither side has really said what, as far as like what they want to cut. They just have a number.
Yeah, I kind of agree with the assessment that you had last week. It seems like they really just want to fall off the fiscal cliff, but nobody really wants to man up to it because, I mean, yeah, those are steps in the right direction, but we're less than 10 days away, and they're finally just barely starting to compromise. It's a little scary.
Basically, like chicken,
Mm.
and first one to whatever.
Yeah.
Or they might just crash into each other and then whatever.
Well, and it's interesting because I'm glad you brought up the fact that they're going on vacation for Christmas because that's an interesting point of our government officials, our elected officials, what have you, are they just like normal workers, normal people that have normal jobs, or should we hold them to a higher standard where they, have to work more hours, are responsible for more information? I had a professor in college in my public administration class, and that was one of his big things was, he was, I guess he's a senator, or he was a senator or something, and he's just like, people expect us to know everything, but when you have a bill that comes in about energy, all this stuff, you don't know anything about it. So you have to vote on stuff based on what other people tell you. And I was sort of just thinking, like, I mean, you could just do some research and learn about it or something, like he's... And his whole thing was no, because most of the senators and all those other people have other jobs. They're lawyers, they're, whatever. So they don't have just unlimited time to be just whatever elected position they are. And his argument was you can't really hold them to a higher standard and expect them to know everything about everything. So that's why, SOPA is another good example. And I brought that up. He said that it's because, well, yeah, a lot of people there don't know a lot about the internet or understand the full implications of, what that bill can mean. I'm like, so that's pretty scary. And he's like, yeah, but, how can they all know everything about everything all the time? And I'm like, I don't know. Don't take the job if you're not smart. I don't know what to tell you. That's just scary, though, thinking about the government like that. I don't know. What do you think, Josh? Reactions?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's pretty impossible to know everything about everything that the Congress try to pass through. As far as even the jargon and some of those bills that they put through and everything.
Oh yeah.
It would be impossible to understand all the issues and everything that go through it. So I can kind of understand that point. I mean, I think I don't even know about education of most people in Congress, but
well, I mean,
it's definitely something where they should be well educated enough. I mean, it's hard to know across all the subjects, and some of the bills are incredibly long.
Yep. Well, that was the big thing with Obamacare. They passed an 800-page document in 3 days or so, after 3 or 4 days after it was out, and it's just there's no way everyone could have read this entire thing front to back and really comprehend it. It's just too big of a document, and you're exactly right about that.
I don't know. It's one of those things where it's kind of hard to ask of that for they have advisors and everything for that they rely on to give them information about the various bills that are trying to get passed and everything, and they rely on other people that are knowledgeable of the situations.
Right. Well, so situations like this, I mean, should they be able to go on vacation just like everybody else for the holiday season, or should they be held to a higher standard and sort of be forced to figure this out because it's already been so long and it's sort of their fault for not being able to compromise until the last minute anyhow? So, I mean, what do you think? Do you think they should be able to take this time off in this time of crisis?
That is a hard question. Answer. Oh, crap.
I'm coming, buddy. We might be able to fight this if they're retarded. Just stun him.
I just got my stun. I'm doing it.
Oh,
he's coming to you.
Him. Yeah, he's dead.
Nice.
Cherry popper.
Nice job.
I'm chasing this guy. Oh shit, he turned. Yeah, we might be able to get him.
I totally ran the other way. I went back to the army.
It didn't do it. Oh shit. Alright, this guy's just a dumb. Alright. Maybe he thought he was dead anyway, so he might as well just hit me.
Dang, are you level 5?
Yeah.
Shit, man.
Oh god.
This late is GG. I'm gonna gank.
Yeah, this is fun. I have 3-minute ghost marchers here.
It's what the heck was that?
I don't know why he turned back. I don't know what he was thinking. Oh, I'm missing these last hits. So it is a tough question because I can definitely see both sides of the coin. You know, like, yes, they're just normal people. Yes, this and that. You know, they're entitled to everything else that the rest of us are. You know, you can't expect them to be knowledgeable about everything. But at the same time, my argument when he was talking about all that was sort of in the back of my mind was, no, that's a bunch of bullshit. Like, it's a position that you volunteer for. You know, you decide to join office knowing that it's going to be a stressful, difficult job. You don't do it because it's going to be easy. You don't really do it for the pay, generally speaking. Most of the people, I think it's more of a sense of pride, you know, more of a sense of accomplishment, doing something, helping people. Or at least, ideally, that's why most people join government. So you sort of go into it knowing that you're going to have to be one that has to absorb a lot of information about a lot of different topics pretty frequently. So to me, that seems like kind of a cop-out. It's like, you know, you volunteer to, you know, help out at a concert, and then you get there, it's like, oh, this isn't any fun, this is really hard. And it's like, well, bitch, I mean, you signed up. All right, let's kill this guy. You know, you kind of.
It's one of those things where it's kind of hard because you can go in there being like you're trying to do everything all nice, but like at the end of the day, like you have to play the game of politics.
Mm-hmm. I'm about to kill this blade again.
Do it, man. I kind of ran away. Oh shit, you're going hard.
It's casual mode. You don't lose gold for dying. You might as well. I may have been able to save myself with the potion, but so it's definitely tricky. But I just feel like it's kind of a cop out to say that. Just like, well, you know, you can't expect them all to be experts on finance. It's like, well, kinda, I can a little bit because they're in control of some really important shit in the world.
Mm-hmm. But like, I don't know, the people that are really good at finance spend like years and years and your entire like careers in finance, and it's like a field that's constantly evolving with all the new creations coming out. And I find that it would be just about impossible to find out and keep up to date with all this stuff, because a lot of it's not just learning, but it's keeping up to date with like the new creations that everyone's coming out with. And yeah.
So I guess taking it to the next level, though, do you think that we should have government officials that don't have other jobs, that are just government officials?
I didn't know that they had like other jobs on the side. I didn't know that even people even did.
I'll just charge.
Yep. Oh shit, I fucked that up. A lot of them are, most of them are lawyers. So a lot of them either have law firms. Like this guy that's professor. He was a higher up in Comcast corporate. So he worked for Comcast right now he's the mayor of a town. So yeah, I mean, I think there's conflict of interest things where they can't have any job, but I mean, if they own a law firm or something, you know, there's no legal standing that says they have to, you know, leave their firm or stop practicing while they're in office. Because I mean, it's generally speaking, I don't think it's really designed to be a 40-hour-a-week gig, right?
I honestly don't know. I know, like, there's one of those news channels that has, like, all they do is show Congress in there.
C-SPAN.
But, like, I have no clue on, like, how frequently they're in there and everything.
Yeah, because when you look at the empty seats, like, people aren't there all the time. Like, when there's, like, people talking in the Capitol building and filibusters and stuff, not all of the representatives are there sitting there listening all the time. If they have, like, business or stuff they have to do, they don't have to be there. It's sort of their choice, except for certain things, and then you can still do, like, absentee voting and all this kind of bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know that's one thing. In a lot of other countries, their elected officials are just elected officials, you know, like you're just a senator.
Yeah. I didn't know that they had side jobs while they were,
so, yeah,
a senator or Congress. But, yeah, if that should be their only job.
Yeah, I agree. I would...
I think. Just find this out,
Just finding this out. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's true. I don't know exactly what the stipulations are, but I know if you're a judge, you're not supposed to have other jobs. Judges are a little more what's the right word? Strict with that kind of stuff.
I'll pull them back. Just be ready.
But yeah, like senators and shit, totally different. I saw a thing on the Daily Show about that one guy filibustering himself. Did you see that?
Oh my god! Yeah, I did.
I forget what his name was.
I liked how Jon Stewart put it too.
Yeah, I'll put him in park.
What was the quote? I can't remember exactly.
It's like they were trying to play. They're trying to play the game politics. We can talk a little bit about what Boehner tried to do too, but they were basically trying to play the game politics, where one guy was going to try to push something through, and he was pretty sure the other guy wasn't going to like go with it and everything. And then the guy like said, "Let's do it right now. Let's go."
Yeah.
And then I forget their names, but yeah, he totally like says, "Okay, so you're
Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, so that was it. So a guy proposes a bill thinking that the real liberal guy will be like, no way, that's a bunch of bollocks. And then the liberal guy's like, all right, let's sign it. So then the conservative guy's just like, oh shit, I didn't really want this bill. So then he just ends up saying that the bill is a bunch of bullshit or whatever, and then just steps down and cancels it. It's like, all right.
It was so stupid. Oh my god.
The look on the guy's face right after it happened was pretty priceless.
Yeah, it was.
I wish you could remember his name. I'd pull up the picture. It's pretty funny.
It's like Mitch McConnell and Harry Reid or something like those. Those are the Senate people, I think. Boehner's Congress.
Mitch McConnell.
Actually, I think it's McConnell. Yeah, from Texas, I want to say, or something like that.
Well, I found the Daily Show clip. I can't play it because of copyright.
Did they give up? Oh my god.
Charging the turtle bottom. Charging the turtle.
Came out our gunblade. Damn.
Oh yeah, we're coming bottom. Don't worry. I'm tabbed out looking at the Daily Show.
But yeah, a little bit about like what Boehner had. Boehner's original plan. It was planned for Friday. It was called his Plan B to the fiscal cliff, and it ended up not happening. But originally, what he wanted to do is on Friday is have Congress have a vote to extend the Bush tax cuts for everyone making over $1 million, which at this point, the GOP agree on, and technically the Democrats agree on. And then they were going to try to push through a bill that extended them for $250,000. And they planned on blocking that, and it was going to be assigned to the president that they don't agree with his full extent of his tax plan and everything.
Yeah.
And they ended up not going through with it, and Boehner was so adamant on Thursday, apparently, they were going to do it. And then Friday came, and they're like, we changed our minds, we're not going to do it.
So, we're back to square one. Well, you said Obama compromised at 400, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
I've heard something, but
I'm sure Boehner is not digging on that.
No, I don't know what they really want.
You gotta start watching Fox News VODs, and then you'll figure out what they want, man.
Oh my God, they want it. They want it for everyone, basically. They want rich people to get richer. Is what they want.
Yeah, that's because they're all rich.
Yep.
Yeah, I really think capitalism is showing its true colors. It's cool and it's awesome, but it's not sustainable in the long run. 200 years and you just end up where all the money floats to the top, and you have this huge minority, ironic as that is, with all the money, and you have no middle class, and then all of a sudden Emma Warden gets ganked. And
yeah, dude, they're going like hardcore pub training.
Yeah, they really are. And that's what's happening right now. You know, I've always hated people that say that, oh, we've got a disappearing middle class. You got to fight for this. I was just want to be like, shut the fuck up, all right? Just get out of here with your propaganda bullshit. But it's actually kind of true. The money just floats upwards, and you're either poor or you're rich. There just isn't as much of a middle group. I think it's an exaggeration to say the middle class is gone, but I think it's definitely.
Yeah, it's definitely something
shrinking.
that's shrinking. Oh shit. Oh crap. Never mind. He has his ult probably.
Oh, I'm coming. No, Swiftblade's ult's down.
What the heck? Oh my God, I'm bad.
Oh god, Ra's back.
They're all there.
Oh my god, he just got his ult back up. Oh my god.
Scout
I might die. Oh god, 15 health. Gotta love casual mode pub trains, man.
Oh my God, that's hardcore. I'm about to make a codex.
Yeah, I thought this was casual mode. This is more like hardcore mode.
Everyone, let's group up, everyone.
Damn it, Bubbles. Kill the Ra! Kill the Ra!
Oh. Dude, he's going for it.
I got wolves.
Nice.
I love this hero. Come here, Gunblade.
Oh, they ran away.
Aw. What was the last thing we were talking about?
I kind of forget.
I kind of got excited about that kill and lost it. Yeah, so anyway, we're gonna fall off the fiscal cliff. I don't know. It's.
Oh yeah, the disappearing middle class.
Oh right, yes, exactly. So I think it's true though, and that's the problem. And for some reason, the conservatives just deny it. It seems to me that history has proven Reaganomics doesn't work. Tax breaks for the rich does not significantly stimulate the economy. It just allows them to offshore their money.
I think it's something that we could fix too. And like, we didn't always have this problem.
Right.
Oh shit.
Well, we didn't. We used to be much more socialisty structured in terms of taxes sliding higher for rich people. It was Reagan started us off on this. And this is classic. What the conservatives say is, well, Reaganomics works. Look back at Reagan's time. The economy was booming, and the idiot liberals say the same thing about Bill Clinton. But just because the economy was good when that person was president doesn't mean that they were the reason the economy was good. Usually, the policies put in place by a president or two before, you're seeing the aftermath, and that's what's driving the economy, not the bullshit that, so the economy's great, and Reagan goes, everyone's doing well, everyone's rich, but let's, we don't need all this tax money, let's cut it for the rich. And it's like, yeah, that's great then, until you run out of money and you need that tax money back. And now it's like, I missed the Reagan days. It's like, well, sort of, but he's the one that put us in the shitter right now. I mean...
Yeah, it's one of those things where I have a big criticism of Bush, where Bush came in with a surplus and everything, and then he's like, okay, we're going to have the Bush tax cuts, and then we're going to have a war. And then we're just I have all these expenditures, and he just basically turned a surplus into a deficit. Like, we were making money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he's just like, okay, we got to start spending all our money.
We got to start spending and stop making. That's the whole thing. I mean, and you're right, he was serious about spending, and not just the wars. I know that he really beefed up like defenses as far as like the Mexican border. They made bigger walls and whatnot. Pardon. Because they're conservative, pretty serious about border control, all that good stuff. And again, that's just another big expenditure, and that's one of those costs where, to me, I'm not really crazy about border control. I get that it's important to some people, but it's not something that I care about. But all that kind of stuff that's really debatable is secondary to core problems, like education, colleges being more expensive than they ever been in the history of American education. That's something that's good for everybody. I don't know how you can argue that college being cheaper is worse for our society. But you can at least argue that higher border control was worse for our society because of the cost, because of the morality. There's X arguments. So that.
Yeah, where are you? Okay, I'm coming.
I'm bottom, where their whole pub train.
Pub train, yeah.
Choo choo!
I'm about to hyper beam these guys.
Oh,
are they taking the tower?
Yeah.
Save it.
Oh god, the tower goes down. I'm backing up. I'm scared.
I'm trying to get a good ult off. I really want to get a good. Wait, they're coming around the trees. Watch, they're coming. They're gonna try to squeeze.
Sticky wickets. They're standing in it. They're bathing in it.
Crap, I ran out of freaking mana.
Oh no. I'm fighting. I'm a little scared.
I totally ran out of mana. Nice.
Oh,
I didn't get him.
Come on, Scooter.
I'm charging.
Yeah. Oh no, the pub train continues. Damn it.
I ran out of mana. I'm running.
I'm coming. Hold on.
Get out of there.
Yeah, dude, I'm out.
So, it's just spending money on problems that are partisan instead of problems that are non-partisan. I feel like shows a pretty serious problem in judgment and just good sense. If that makes. I would assume that you kind of agree with that, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. There are a lot of changes we did that didn't really work out, and I don't agree with them, and they basically just turned capitalism into something that makes rich people even richer.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I contend. I second the notion, Josh.
And I don't know. It's where I look at it, and I think we need more regulation, and that's the only way I see of trying to keep these rich people from getting more cookies from the cookie jar.
Yeah, and regulation on what rich people can do with their money, you mean?
What they can do, how the banks can like invest and everything, because like if it's kind of hard to go into it because I don't really know super in depth, but like banks have really evolved over the past like 20 years on what they can do, how they can invest their money, what type of banks there are, what companies a bank owns. Like the banks have just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where like now
now that they've all consolidated and swallowed each other, it's pretty much just only big groups of big banks.
Yeah. There are a lot of small banks too, but big banks are just ungodly big is the whole point right now. The point they joke around they're too big to fail and everything.
Yeah.
And it wasn't always like this. Banks used to have there used to be different types of banks too, and banks couldn't always do investments. They could only do like 3 different things, and then banks started buying other banks that did these other things to combine, so that like one bank could do like the underwriting for a house, they could do the insurance on the house and everything. They could basically control everything about the house, not only the sale. Where they have like interest to like make money off of different schemes and exploit their power and everything. And this is kind of justified too, basically on how the banks work, because of Supreme Court ruled that like when you're a public company and everything, you owe everything to your stockholders. You have to take the best interest of what your stockholders have. And so I'm coming up there to fight.
Yeah, I thought the pub train was bottom and they just showed up mid. And it hurt. Oh, there you go. There you go. Big rock.
But yeah, basically the Supreme Court ruled that public companies have complete responsibility to the shareholders, which basically says they have to make as much money as they possibly can, and that is their one goal. Legally, that's their one goal. Like when you look at companies like Enron that like did a bunch of these really nasty schemes and everything, exploited like power outages and everything to like make a lot of money. Like a lot of their defense for the CEO was not only that he didn't know what was happening, but he was saying he was trying to do what was in like the best interest of the stockholders to make the stock price go up.
Right.
And that's legitimate defense.
You're certainly right. And yeah, there's the age-old ethical debate in business of sort of the ultimate socialist versus the ultimate capitalist. Is it what is the goal of the business? If the goal of the business is to make money, then any choice you make that doesn't maximize profitability in some measurable way is unethical in terms of organizational goals. That's something that some people actually do believe. And then, of course, the other turn is like, no, it's actually more ethical to spend some of your extra money on things like healthcare and other employee benefits or donations or give back or whatever it is. And it's sort of an interesting debate of which is more ethical. And all the people that go with the former just say it's not a charity group, it's a business. That's the difference between a business and a nonprofit. If those are your goals, then you should just file as a non-profit and forget about being a business. But I think that's kind of bullshit. I think there's a happy medium of, greed and good for everybody, if that makes sense.
It's definitely one of the issues that is part of the reason why our economy is evolving this thing where rich people just get richer, as they keep passing laws and everything.
Oh god.
I think they're making it harder for the little guy and everything. Entrance or whatever. What's the key phrase? The entrance or oh shit, hyper beam incoming. This is gonna be so big.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, avenge my death, man. I keep getting run over by the train.
I apparently didn't get my mana item that I normally get. Oh shit, Swiftblade thinks he's all ninja. Maybe he is.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you're right. It's a problem. I would agree with more regulations in terms of financial stuff, but ultimately, I think we need to really look at a more efficient way to operate our government, and as well as we need to get out of these wars, man. I still contend that all this, most of this stuff that we're quarreling about is secondary to the underlying problem of why we're so deep into debt, and it's because of the the wars. We've talked about this on past episodes, but you know, it doesn't really matter how much you increase taxes on the rich while we're just blowing cash in all of these fronts, supporting soldiers in Afghanistan and North Korea and South Korea, Iraq, Uzbekistan, Pakistan, India. You know, we have people everywhere, and we're still buying planes and tanks. You know, the whole thing about Mitt Romney cutting PBS, it's like, well, who gives a shit, dude? That's like, you know, a fraction of the budget, whereas, you know, military spending is what, like 70% or something? Something ridiculous. I don't know if it's quite that high, but it's, you know.
Yeah, no, I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. So, this whole fiscal cliff, that's part of the reason why I'm boycotting the fiscal cliff in terms of what I read in the news, because it's just so stupid. It seems to me like, regardless of what they decide, it's just like putting a Band-Aid on the wound that is the war on terror.
Yeah, the wars are definitely something that, I don't know, the Republicans seem to like wars.
They love it.
They're all top.
And
down there.
I don't know why.
Well, I know why.
To spend a lot of money on military spending.
No, the reason is, what the conservatives say, and why people buy into this, is because they feed off of 9/11. They say 9/11 happened because there was no proactive force against terrorism in the world. And the only way to fight terrorism, because they're suicide bombers, you know, people you can't really barter with or argue with, the only way to fight them is to take a proactive stance and take them out before they take you out. That's their claim. So people like that. You know, after 9/11, the old people that are kind of paranoid and afraid of security, they really like that. They're like, you're right. We got to get these motherfuckers before they get us. And they really eat that shit up. And that's kind of where it comes from. And they like the idea of, they say, you know, America is the superpower of the world. Who else is better suited to do it? You know, and they say, like, all these other countries, you know, the UK, you know, whoever, they won't step up to the plate. And oh god, they won't step up to the plate.
Dude, that was a trap.
That was a trap. They won't step up to the plate and you know, make it happen to protect the world against terror. So we have to do it. If we don't do it, no one else will. And it's all about egos. You know, they think America is hands down the best place in the world, no argument. And as Bill O'Reilly says, Amsterdam is just a haven for criminals.
I can't. I just want to
don't think he's ever been there.
And just destroy them so that.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if you saw the Daily Show we talked about. The UN was trying to pass a bill about disabled people and everything. Actually, I probably shouldn't go into this because I kind of forget it. But like,
I know what you're talking about, though. That it was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and the Republicans shot that down and everything because apparently Republicans are really against the UN because they think we're giving up our rights to the UN, even though I don't know. That was one argument. The other argument was that the UN has no way to enforce what they're trying to propose.
Yeah, I remember that.
So, like, in the same party, they're like, okay, we're afraid that they're going to enforce these on America, and you want UN soldiers coming in telling you how to raise your child, your disabled child, and everything. And the exact same party is arguing that there's no way these laws can be enforced, and so we're not supporting it.
Dude, the whole thing about it not being the whole point of the UN is to, because there is, you know, there needs to be international jurisdictions. The whole point of the UN is just to put things in place that say, you know what, this is a really good, this is the global standard that we feel is appropriate for everyone. You know? So it's not like, yeah, it's not enforceable, but it doesn't matter. The guidelines were modeled off of the disability laws in the United States.
Yo, I'm about to pull as soon as I can get a good
position. Shit, Bubbles they just Bubbles!
Charging it up.
Uh-oh, I might be boned. Yeah, I'm dead. This Raw was all over my grips. Sorry, get him! Get him! Give it to this Gunblade. I don't like him.
Can't slow him. He went invisible. Don't worry, I'm killing this other guy.
Don't worry, Ra's here. Yeah,
I just got shit on.
Alright, well, I got shit on too. I was the only one to die. It's like they focus me, man. I don't like it. It's not fair.
I was in the woods charging my hyper beam. Freaking blew up someone. I forget who.
Yeah. Shit, I lost my train of thought again. What was the last thing I was talking about, man? This always happens. I can't focus on team fights and talking.
Wars. Someone with wars.
Wars. Yeah.
Help me out with the rack.
It's no good.
Come
It's
on.
no good. Oh yeah. So that's a conservative thing, though. That's their basis for why the wars need to be fought. And oh yeah, we're talking about the UN. So you're right. They don't like the UN. They don't trust the UN. So we need to do it ourselves, and that's what they think is most important. And the argument, what O'Reilly says to people to get in his face. He just says, well, don't you want a safe America? Don't and that's the kind of stuff they say. It's all about being proactive. If we don't do it, no one else will.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they like war so much.
It's so bad too, because while Bush was president, they created a word or term, I should say, war on terror.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, how can you have a war on terror?
Oh man.
It's basically how a lot of people put it. It's an unending war. It's basically the Republicans' attempt to make a war that will never end. And the term, and in people's minds and everything.
Oh God.
So that is their war that they created, manufactured, and got people believing.
You want to come bottom? I used the glyph.
I'm going to try to. I'm trying to. Oh, they ran away from my hyper beam. Yeah, anyone. Watch, it's just you. It's just you, dude.
I know. I'm trying to bait him. Oh God, bait successful.
It's only you and me. Purple's still a while away.
Charging the nerd blade.
Oh, 5-second arrow. Nerd blade.
I'm going in as soon as I can get faster. I'm killing Swift Blade. I don't like him. Never mind.
Going on Blacksmith.
I'll get that Swift blade. Just leave him for me. I'll charge all the way across New Earth for him.
Yo, he's going for Kongor. Yeah, that's right, Bird. Get him. So that is an interesting thought, though. I've heard that argument before, that the war on terror, I mean, the name is pretty stupid. I mean, what is the... You're right, it is never-ending, basically, is what it comes down to. Because how can you fight terror? It's not a thing. It's like... I don't know. I can't even think of a comparable. It's like the war on anger. How are you going to stop people from being angry?
Yeah, how are you going to stop people from being angry? I don't know. It's kind of like one of the things that I think really... this is the whole Bush. I have a big beef with Bush being president. Like, so many things just got messed up in this world because of him.
That bastard.
Charging up the hyper beam. Oh my God.
You missed him.
No. Damn it. I guess I gotta charge it up longer for it to do super stuff. I don't know.
Big stuff. Yeah, the big ones.
Yeah, I'm heading over to the Kongor. I'll tank you.
So yeah, I would definitely tend to agree, man. So we've been all over the place. This hasn't even been news. This is just random political debate here.
Just us hating on conservatism.
Yeah, us hating on conservatives here. So let's switch it up a little bit, and I'll play Bill O'Reilly in this next skit. Talk to me about the NRA, Josh. Why are shootings happening? What should we do? And what is the NRA's role in this world of gun violence?
God, it is so retarded what they proposed on Friday. I think it was yesterday. Yesterday, where should I begin? Earlier in the week, the NRA said they were going to make contributions to help stop whatever happened in Sandy Hook.
Mm-hmm.
And on Friday, they came out with a statement that they were going to, I think, make contributions, but they also had reasons on why this tragedy happened. And they blame, let me get exactly what they blame. They blame music, movies, and video games for the violence, like, aspect of them and how they're affecting people.
Mm-hmm.
And they proposed to stop these that every school should have an armed guard in them. And they think the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is to have a good guy with a gun.
Oh, that is their little soundbite, isn't it?
Oh my God. And that's what they proposed on Friday. And the GOP did not like it, which I don't know. They had a bunch of people come on saying this is really, really stupid of them. And like, how can they think that we need more guns to solve this one gun issue?
There are a couple of interesting facets here.
They basically blamed everyone but themselves and said we need more guns to solve this.
Well, the soundbite that I caught out of that little, I didn't actually watch the press release, but I read some of the stuff, and the one soundbite that I got wind of, I think summed it up very well, and it was at the very end. This is the beginning of a conversation, a great conversation on this topic. We will not be taking any questions. Think about what that means. We're going to have a great conversation, but we're going to do it later on. I loved that. I just thought that was the best conclusion to that piece, because it was such a key piece of irony into how fucking clueless they are and how far they have their thumbs shoved up their tight white asses.
It's really, I don't know what they're crazy. They're crazy as far as I'm concerned.
So let's talk about gun control, gun stuff. There are two things I want to address here. First is the blaming the violence in our culture, aka video games, movies, music, all that stuff. They tried this in the 90s. That was the whole Marilyn Manson after Columbine, Eminem being should be censored, the Insane Clown Posse in Florida, Two Live Crew were banned from radios in Florida. Tipper Gore, Al Gore's adoring wife, that was her big thing, was censorship, and she based it on these ridiculous claims that it encourages violence. And I think that they've pretty well established the correlation is not in the direction of, if you're a normal, sane person and you play very violent video games like Grand Theft Auto, that it makes you violent. That has been debunked. That's not really the case. If you're a normal, sane person, you can differentiate between the animated gun violence in GTA and, actually getting a gun and wanting to shoot somebody and kill them in real life. They found that the inverse is true, though, where people that are not balanced and are prone to violence later in life are attracted to those kind of video games and music and movies in their youth. But it doesn't cause it. It's just a correlation the other way around. Just like, what they say whenever they catch young kids mutilating animals, that they say that's a telltale sign of, they're probably going to mutilate people later in life. It's the same thing. Mutilating animals in biology doesn't cause you to want to do it to people later in life, but if you're sort of pre-exposed to it, you're going to be more intrigued by ripping the legs off of a rat for fun. So, that's just a fucking load of bullshit, man.
Yeah, I don't know. They took, I don't know, there were a bunch of responses from Republicans who are pro-gun and everything. You should have your gun and be able to protect yourself and everything. Mm-hmm. And Michael Steele, the former head of the Republican chair and everything, or basically head of their strategy department as far as Republicans are concerned, is credited with getting the Republicans control of Congress and everything while Obama was president. But he said this is just crazy on what they're trying to propose, at this point in time. And he can't believe that they came out and said that basically as their statement on the issue. So
yep,
it's definitely, I don't know what they were thinking.
The other thing, and I want to play devil's advocate with you a little bit, Joshy, because one part of this gun control thing that the conservatives have been talking about that I can get on board with are these gun-free zones. And you can look at some interesting statistics as far as these shootings where people are killed. A lot of them occur in movie theaters, schools, places that are gun-free zones where it's illegal to carry even if you are a licensed gun owner and you're allowed to carry, so to speak. Schools are a great example. You're not allowed to bring a gun to a school even if you're an off-duty cop or something. And they say the problem with that is it makes for easy entry for criminals. They know that no one there is going to have a gun to defend against anything. If they know that that's a school that doesn't have a station police officer, no one in that building is going to have a gun because it's illegal. Mm-hmm. It's sort of like those stickers that you have to put on your car in New Jersey now. For if you're 16, you have that little license, you put a big orange sticker on the back, and they say, well, that's great for child molesters and pedophiles because now they know that there's a greater chance of a young person being in that car, possibly driving alone. And there's the whole bump and grab thing where they purposely rear end you so you get out of the car and then they grab you and throw you in their car and drive away and leave your car at the accident scene. They're saying, it's the intention is so that other drivers can see there's an unexperienced driver on the road, but really it opens up a huge exploitation for potential criminals. And I think this is a similar thing where I like the idea of saying, this is a gun-free zone, man. You're not allowed to have guns here. There's children around. It's a public place, what have you. But you can't really do that because it makes all those people there a little bit more susceptible to those. I mean, criminals don't care about rules because they're criminals. That's the whole point. It's one of these situations where more rules doesn't, like, just because it's a law doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Kind of like prohibition is, of course, the classic example. We're saying we're not allowed to have guns here. It's like, well, the criminals are going to do whatever they want anyway. So I will side with the conservatives on that stance of that I think we should get rid of these gun-free zones where it's clearly posted for all to see.
It's definitely, I don't know, an iffy thing, because there have been, like, shootings in non-gun-free zones, I guess. One of them comes to mind is the New York shooting, where outside the Empire State Building, some guy shot this other guy, killed him. The cops opened fire on the guy. They killed him, and in the process, they also ended up injuring like 6 other people just from like ricochets and bullets splitting up and everything when they hit buildings. So, I don't know. It's one of those things where there's no one solution that's going to solve the problem. I think it still would happen if you did have armed guards. Like, to a degree, would it be less? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, so the third angle I want to take on this is, again, with the use of numbers and looking at some statistics, your chance of being killed by a gun-related crime in America is like 15th on the list of deaths in America. Number 1, I believe, is heart attack. I think 1 in 6 people die from some sort of heart-related issue, heart failure. Generally speaking, it's associated with being a big fatty, right? Number 2 on the list is diabetes. Number 3, I'm forgetting already, but they've done a similar thing with terrorism. We're saying, all right, we're putting all this money into terrorism, all this stuff, but how many Americans are actually killed by terrorists aside from the soldiers that are, kind of put in harm's way fighting with them? And that's like, even lower on the list because we don't have terrorist attacks happen that often. So they say, statistically, driving in a car is way, way, way astronomically more risky than your chance of being involved in some sort of gun violence as far as, a mass shooting and that kind of stuff. But because it's very emotional, because innocent people are killed, it gets all this press. And they make it seem like it's a big problem. It's a huge crisis. All these people are dying in America. And I mean, some people are dying. It is sad and unfortunate. But in terms of real problems, it's not the number 1 killer in America. It's not even close.
Yeah, it's definitely the fear factor, again, that comes into play. I remember one statistic they mentioned in college when you're going through safety and everything, and they say you got to look at the numbers instead of playing off of fear. They said, like, if you have a kid and everything, and your kid goes over a friend's house, and they find out the parents of that kid have like a gun and everything, some parents will be like, they'll just come into the mind of their kids playing with a gun and something bad happening. But they don't have the same feeling when they send their kid over to another kid's house that has a pool. And when you look at the statistics, a lot more kids die from drownings than messing around with their parents' guns. And it's a huge amount, but because the pool isn't, like, you don't see it as a very dangerous or weapon, you think it's okay. And it's immediately when you see guns, it's like, whoa, no, step back and everything. And it's the fear and everything of it that comes into play.
Yep. I think you're exactly right. So the point of that argument that I'm making is just that, do I think we need to sort of reevaluate our gun control laws? Yeah, probably. As we talked about last week, both of us are I just don't like guns in general. I have no desire to be around guns. I don't really want to fire a gun. I don't want to own one. I don't really want to be in a house that has one. But as far as what other people want to do, if they, I don't really care that much. I'm very much a live and let live type-minded individual when it comes to most social policies. But it's just one of those things. What can you do? How can you stop it? Because I do empathize with the argument of people are going to kill people regardless. If we didn't have guns, they'd kill each other with knives. If we didn't have knives, they'd run each other over with their cars. There's always some way to create a big disturbance. If you don't want to go shoot the place up, you can always just make a bomb and blow up the building instead. There's always some other way to create mass havoc, do a lot of harm, all that kind of stuff. And, is outlawing guns and trying to enforce, because not only with these laws you have to look at, what's it going to cost us to, get these laws in place, is it going to be achievable? But then you have to look into enforcement. That's the whole thing, like texting and driving is illegal in New Jersey. It's illegal in a lot of states. But how do you really enforce that? How do you really stop that? Making it illegal hasn't really stopped a lot of people from texting and driving because they know they're driving by at 60 miles an hour. A cop's not really going to be able to see, oh yeah, it looks like you were texting under your steering wheel. I'm going to pull you over. I mean, I'm sure that's happened, but it's not like as obvious as speeding, running a red light, having a tail light out, having, your license
or not
plate
wearing a seatbelt.
invisible. Not wearing a seatbelt. Yeah, again, not wearing a seatbelt is at least you can sort of see it. It falls into a similar
hard
category.
If you're going by really fast.
Yeah, it falls into a similar category with the cell phone, but I think the seatbelt is a little, maybe a little more, but still. My point is that you look at these laws and we pass laws, it's like, yeah, that's great, but it's like, well, if it's an unenforceable law, it's kind of pointless, and it's not going to be a cost-effective use of the government's time if these laws aren't going to be enforceable. So just like, we're going to ban assault rifles. Well, all right.
Yeah, like I said, it's pretty hard to come up with a very effective solution to this problem that we have. And Obama said beginning of next year, I think, they're going to take a look at gun control laws. They haven't said anything yet, but they said they're going to take a look at them to see if they can, I don't know, fix them or come up with something.
Yep.
Since right now their focus is on the fiscal cliff and everything, trying to make it
as it should be. But yeah, it's one of those things where of course, empathize with all the families and the victims, and I can understand why they are so activist about it. But on the grand scheme, in terms of public policy and what our government should do about it, I think it's going to be really hard to pass a concrete set of regulations that will really make an effective difference in reducing the amount of gun-related crimes. Because again, I still don't believe that it's a matter of the number of guns on the streets. I think it's a cultural issue. I think it's a lack of education. It's a lack of gun owners that practice safe gun handling, as far as keeping them locked up, keeping them out of reach of their kids, that kind of stuff. And that is a problem that goes deeper than, well, we just can't let more people get assault rifles. That's an education. I think most of our problems stem from our lack of financing and education, and everything else it's like a pyramid. Everything else is just secondary to your foundation. So I don't know. That's my rant for the day. Josh, we're running low on time. I think before we wrap it up, we should just mention briefly about the stock market. Big shit with this NYSE buyout, the New York Stock Exchange. 220 years. The New York Stock Exchange has been going. I think it's the oldest stock exchange.
I think, yeah.
Or it was.
We created it.
Yep, we created it, and they're going to sell. They're actually going to accept an offer, $8.2 billion, to the Intercontinental Exchange. $33.12 a share in cash and stock. Josh, what does this mean to those of us that aren't investing junkies? What does this mean? What are the implications? Are stocks going to go up and down up or down because of this?
It doesn't really change too much. It basically just shows you like the evolution of the stock market, because it probably hit its peak, I don't know how many years ago, but it's definitely in a declining business as far as people participating in the stock market. Like if you look at how many people were actually buying and selling stocks, let me see if I can bring a chart real fast. Its peak was in 2006. 2006, a lot of people were trading money and everything. Mm-hmm. And since then, there has been a huge decrease in the amount of people buying and selling stocks. It's become more computers and less people, basically. And so part of the way the stock exchange made its money is on commissions, basically. You trade a stock, you pay $7. It depends on who's your broker and everything. Maybe $5, as low as $4. $7 a flag, goes up to 10 and everything. But that's how they made their money, on you trading stocks as commission. And basically, with the evolution of all these brokers like Scott Trade or TD Banking and all these other clearing firms, there are a ton of them out there. There are ways to basically skip the stock exchange and trade the stocks in-house. One example is if you have a lot of clients and everything, I'll use Scott Trade since that's one I'm kind of familiar with. But if you have a lot of clients in there and one person puts a buy order for $10, another person wants to sell it at $9, it'll try to clear the transaction or sell for $9. They'll try to do transaction in-house, basically. They will never send the order to the stock market. They'll clear it and they'll take the money, the difference and everything as profit for the for Scottrade or whoever the clearing firm is. I don't know. There's a bunch of like loops that everything goes through, and when you actually send an order, it hardly ever reaches the actual stock market, and that's where they're making their money. That's where they get when you trade stock markets on the stock market is when they make their money, not when it goes through a clearing firm or Scottrade or TM or everything.
Okay.
So it's basically showing a decline of how profitable the stock market is since the volatility is down. So there's less trades going on just in general, and on top of that, there are more of these like firms popping up, brokerage firms that are just doing stock trading, and so it's basically cutting the stock market out. So they've been declining, and you've seen a rise in stuff called derivatives, and some of those are options and futures. And the way they've held a monopoly on it is if you trade options or futures, they have to be traded with whatever stock exchange they go through. I think one really big one is, I forget what its name is, it's in Atlanta. And the other one's in Chicago, Board of Exchanges and everything. They basically held on to monopolies of basically if you want to buy or sell an option or future, you have to do it through them. You can't do it through Scottrade or whatever. Or they can, but the order goes through the future exchange. So they've still held on to their commission money, basically. Whereas in the New York Stock Exchange, like they said, they were offered previously $3 billion more than the offer they're selling for now, like a year ago. So the volume in the stock market has been going down. At least the past 6 years it's been going down. And so until, I don't know, that's one of the ways, one of the issues that they've been talking about is like it's become a place, the stock market has become a place for like banks. Basically banks and hedge funds to make money. It's kind of cut out the average middle class citizen because you can no longer compete with these huge hedge funds that have computers that now make profits. They were talking about how you make profits. It used to be like $1 if a stock goes up and down $1 until like a couple cents. And now banks are making profits on really fast transactions of like hundreds of a penny. They just do it really, really fast. And they have these giant supercomputers that they pay a lot of money to have right next to the stock exchange so that they can transfer their data almost instantaneously. So it's basically showing you the evolution of stock market and how it's now like basically in decline.
That's really interesting and really scary that so many computers are controlling so much of our money more than the old school way of doing it by hand and yelling on the floor.
Yeah, that whole yelling on the floor doesn't really exist anymore.
Oh.
You go on Netflix, you can actually see like they wrote documentaries on it, how people go in there, they just be yelling at each other. They wear crazy shirts to get people's attention.
Yeah.
They like yell at each other. They somehow, I don't know how they communicated. It's so loud in the videos and everything. But then they would write down the tickets on their little like notepads and everything. They handed to another runner, they call him, who would run it to the computers and everything. They punch it in, and that's how they traded. And that basically is non-existent anymore.
Well, that's a damn shame, man.
You can see it a little bit in New York Stock Exchange, but it's basically a relic of history, as they say.
Right. Wow.
So,
well, that's pretty wild. 220 years in the biz. That is just insane.
I mean, it's still going on. They're just owned by someone different now.
Well, right, but they have declined all of their buyout offers for 220 years until now. So it's pretty interesting.
Yep.
So I think that's a wrap, though, Josh. I think we're just about at that hour mark. I think we're in good shape. They didn't like our Reddit thread, though. Big bummer.
I'm disappointed.
Damn, I'm really let down. This Han subreddit ain't what it used to be. Well, Josh, I think that's it. Another news report in the books, guys. Until next week, Merry fucking Christmas, because there's not going to be a news report between now and Christmas. It's in but a couple days. Get that last bit of Christmas shopping in. Get your family everything they desire and more. There's nothing like that look on your loved one's face when they open that gift of something they didn't even know they wanted. Like a surprise ZyoriTV mug. Until next time, though, guys, make sure you follow both of us on Twitter, at JDHyper, at ZyoriTV. Hyper be blogging! You can follow his day trading and all of the other struggles he's been having in the stock market. and triumphs, I guess, for that matter. But until next week, guys, take care. Be kind to yourselves. Be kind to each other. We'll see you on another cast.